Hello everyone, I am Kirsten Muyot. I am 20 years old and I'm in my first semester of 12th grade. I am taking STEM as my course for the entire senior high school. Perhaps I will also be studying college here in AMA as long as it continues to offer the course that I will be taking. Before I start talking about my habits, let me share a few things about me in terms of my hobbies and abilities. I can say that I'm the type of person who has a broad range of interests, which eventually leads to passions. I am inclined to sports, art, photography, writing literature, learning, and especially music. You cannot convince me that singing and playing musical instruments are unnecessary. As for me, music serves as the major therapy for my negativity and sadness. So moving on, there are good habits that I have which I must keep, for these will aid me in becoming a better person. So moving on, there are good habits that I have which I must keep, for these will aid me in becoming a better person, and these greatly affect the likelihood of having a successful career in the future. One of the most basic but essential habit of mine is getting up in the morning on time. I find this very inconvenient because I usually sleep late at night and then wake up at 6 a.m. so sometimes I get drowsy in the morning or in the middle of studying. But it's a matter of consistency and discipline. I have to teach myself to stay out of what I find the most comfortable choice to do, since it's not going to help me. Another one is eating a healthy diet. This is the habit that I used to inconsistently practice, as we are all aware how difficult it is to restrain ourselves from eating a delectable but unhealthy foods and confectionaries, especially during stressful times. But as I grew up, I learned to eat mindfully and not to rely on junks when I'm anxious. I conditioned my mind not to eat foods based on their taste and to select protein-based foods and fruits and vegetables over anything else. I'm also the kind of person who takes initiatives in getting my chores and responsibilities done. This habit probably has to do with my desire to be assigned to tasks and accomplish them single-handedly. In fact, I cannot afford to watch people being busy, then I'm not doing anything at all. Getting organized also became habitual for me, for this helps me to fulfill my plans at the right time. Making a plan for what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it will ensure that I'm always ahead of the curve. I think curiosity is considered as habit as well. I can say that I have this habit because I love exploring whatever the topics of exploration might be, and I never stop learning something until I completely learned it in all aspects. I also have the habit of reading, and I become an avid reader since I knew its importance in preventing cognitive problems. In addition, it increases my vocabulary bank and enhances my comprehension skills. On the other hand, I also possess bad habits that I am currently in the process of changing, as this will be a hindrance in reaching my goals, dealing with people, and building a better future. The bad habit that I have never overcame since I was a toddler is biting my fingernails. I usually do this whenever I'm anxious or in the midst of pressure, and even if I'm getting excited. I also have a habitual way of getting easily angry in circumstances which I disapprove of. I get very irritable, which leads to my harsh treatment to people. A bad habit that I have that I think is also rare is listening to music with earphones for longer times so as to isolate myself and ignore people's existence when I got into arguments with them and if the situation doesn't appeal to me. This has been just my wrong way of dealing with life and things which I have to alter since these habitual behaviors don't solve the problems. I have the tendency to engage in emotional eating like we mostly do when we are stressed. There are moments when I struggle to maintain a healthy diet, when I'm bombarded with many inconvenient things to deal with. Then I forget about my health and exercising. Another habit of mine that is considered bad is having a negative perception in life. And this affects me instantly. I don't appreciate the good things in life and always tend to look at others' lives instead. This causes me to lose sense in life and get unmotivated to the point of settling only to doing unproductive daily routine. But as I am getting aware of the probable consequences tied with these bad habits, I am committed to change these before it's too late. A good advice I would want to tell my old self is to stay out of your comfort zone to make changes. This is really a helpful stimulus for the younger version of myself, for I used to be a lazy person, especially when it comes to my academics. I didn't like learning, used to sleep in school lectures, and didn't do my schoolwork on time. Moreover, I got myself into trouble many times for I was too idle to think before I act. But I am glad that as I am getting matured, I was able to eliminate these follies. This phrase is like a very short summary of what I learned from my father's teachings and life experiences. To my mind, this states that making difference is difficult and the person must put a great effort in doing so. If the desired results did not take place, then he or she has to utilize a different technique and try harder until the goal is achieved. This is the common denominator in those people who went from rags to riches kind of life, alongside the fact that they can afford the needed resources and have higher level of intelligence. The point is they did not succumb to difficulties they might have experienced in the process and just focus on the goal at hand. I think the definition of this phrase totally summarizes everything I have to say to my old self, because doing the right thing is all about getting out of your comfort zone. Dealing with life, situations, and people is never easy. It is in our nature to easily fall into the wrong choices. And I have to remind myself every time the purpose as why I am doing a certain activity or task and the advice I mentioned earlier to counteract this tendency. So far, this is the best advice I could give to my past self. So, who am I to be? I don't usually ponder about this question much, but it is important for one to have a vision in life. As far as I know, this vision will serve as my guide on the choices I am to make in the present time. As the saying goes, what I do in the present is a preparation for who I will be in the future. I have always been an ambitious person, despite the fact that I used to be a lazy kid. I am always looking forward to reach my fullest potential. I want to create or do something that will benefit the society and will change the world. I want to see myself in the future as someone who will be able to provide for my parents and siblings in the first place and to the needy as well. I will also ensure that I've completely altered my negativity and bad habits. And most importantly, I have maintained my fellowship with God before I die, because that's what matters the most in life. Life will only make sense if we have faith in God and committedly follow Him. As of the near future, I can see myself graduating college in 5 years with a computer science course. And if it is possible, I would also take another math or science related course. Then I would pursue my dream career to be a computer programmer or a scientist and a writer. And since I also have a burning passion to be a singer or a musician, I'm going to add these as my secondary career. Well, you cannot persuade me that a person can live without music. Honestly speaking, I just want to live a simple and tranquil life. I'm not certain if I would want to have my own family since I'm not interested to it at all. I would rather spend the rest of my life learning about the things that are yet to be discovered in the world. And I would want to invest my time more on taking care of animals, wildlife, and the nature in the future.